What's going on, guys? It's your boy Andy Matrix, and Final Fantasy 15 sucks. Okay? Final Fantasy 15 sucks. That's one heck of an intro, right? Now, but seriously, I think a lot of people do feel this way, despite of the success of the game, because it was pretty successful. Well, of course, there were those DLCs, but Final Fantasy 15 had a lot of problems. Not that other Final Fantasy games didn't have problems, but Jesus Christ, this game took a long time to make, right? It was in development since, I think 2008. And then all the changes that it went through going into the PlayStation 4, it was kind of stressful. And then the final product was just, oh man. This is my absolute least favorite Final Fantasy game, right next to Final Fantasy 12. Which, again, nobody cares about Final Fantasy 12. As a matter of fact, name one person that likes Final Fantasy 12, or go on the internet right now and look how popular Final Fantasy 12 actually is. I'll wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not. But anyways, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell for future notifications. I talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, Japanese culture. If you're into any of that stuff, then make sure to subscribe, dudes. Now on with the show. Okay, so the original story for Final Fantasy 15 was scraped. Yeah, I know. It's kind of messed up, right? And the name was even changed. It was called Final Fantasy Versus 13. And which I didn't quite understand it, back then. But it would have been better under the management of Tetsuya Nomura, the almighty Final Fantasy lord, Tetsuya Nomura. Now, here's the problem. Nomura was working on Final Fantasy Versus 13 and Kingdom Hearts at the same time, so he was removed from Final Fantasy 15 for Kingdom Hearts 3, and talk about being overworked. I mean, the guy basically, took his fans with him to Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't blame him. I mean, in Japan, they overwork people all the time. Now, why does Final Fantasy 15 suck, man? Why? Again, my least Final Fantasy game ever. Not the worst. No, not the worst, but my least favorite of all. Seriously. Now, one of the first problems is that it doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game. It's more like an urban fantasy Grand Theft Auto. A boy band goes on a road trip. Seems like they made it as a road trip to fit in with the trends. Right? Because the game, it reminded me too much of Grand Theft Auto, GTA. I think they were just trying to blend in with the trends, make it like a realistic fantasy in the city, driving around, but it just didn't work. The last realistic type of game, Final Fantasy game that we had was Final Fantasy VIII, right? Which it had it was a fantasy based on reality, crap like that. So the road trip, kind of took away from the story. That's a major problem. Okay. Another thing is that every Final Fantasy game gives you a reason to travel, to move around with the story. With Final Fantasy 15, it feels like even if you don't follow the story, you can still play it. It's empty. It's kind of empty because if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you always want to follow a story. Being able to do whatever you want, that's more of an open world type of thing, right? So Noctis and his friends go on a road trip before he gets married, and along the way, the Empire returns, right? Okay, fine. The driving force in the game is not felt. It was not as strong as Final Fantasy X. It was not as strong as Final Fantasy VII. It was not as strong as Final Fantasy IX, which doesn't get enough recognition, for God's sake. The story lacks drive. It does not have a good enough reason to travel, to move, to fight. It feels like a freaking slice of life anime with monsters and magic in it. Oh, man. Final Fantasy games were not meant to be open world. I mean, even the latest one, Final Fantasy 16, it looks like an open world game, but it's not. It's very, again, it's Final Fantasy is very story driven. You do have to follow a story. And there might be side missions, but it's linear. Final Fantasy games have always been linear, and that is a good thing. That's what makes it such great games. I mean, if you want more of an open world thing, just play Final Fantasy 14. A Realm Reborn. However, the problem is that, again, the reason why people play this game is for the adventure and to be driven by the story. The game had way too much freedom. Like go anywhere, do anything, whatever you want, however you want. Every Final Fantasy game has suspense when introducing you to its world. However, Final Fantasy 15, we are thrown into the world immediately. We are not given a second to savor the first part of the game. It feels like you have to go on and explore everything at once. But hey, that's my take on the Final Fantasy 15. And I just wanted to get that out of my chest because Final Fantasy 16 is underway this summer in 2023 June. Whatever your thoughts are, comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. It's your boy Andy Matrix. Godspeed!